I have very strong feelings about suicide, the issue of suicide. I've lost a stepmother to suicide, and I've attempted suicide myself, and we are, as a society, completely backwards around suicidal feelings. What we've done is that we've reached a point where we consider the urge to kill yourself as a symptom of a biological brain disorder that needs medical treatment. And if people don't want it, we force them to get it. And what this does is that it, first of all, it spreads fear around the whole issue. It makes it so that we feel like we can't talk about it, that we have to turn it over to professionals. And then when people do talk about it, they're so quickly judged, and then the interventions come in and they're forced into the hospital, or they check in voluntarily and find that they can't get out, or they're in the hospital, they say they don't want a medication, and then they find that they have to take it, or they get provoked by some of the staff in the hospital, and then they find that they're in restraints. So we have responded so forcefully and so oppressively to feelings of suicide that we've removed spaces where people can just talk about their despair. The most important thing for someone who has any kind of urge to end their own life is to talk about it with someone. And we've made it something that first of all, it's shameful because it feels like, oh, what are you complaining about? You're just whining. We have a whole culture that you can't be vulnerable, you can't show weakness, especially for men, and men tend to be the people who are the completers of suicide. And so there's no space to talk about vulnerable feelings at all, because you're seen as weak and a failure, and what's your problem, and just get it together, and especially if you're a man. And then if you do talk about it, the judgment and the intervention is so heavy that you learn very quickly, I better not talk about that anymore if I don't want to get locked up again. So I feel like we're just backwards. And I encourage anyone who has suicidal feelings to find someone and get an agreement where the person is not going to judge them and not going to react and not going to do anything without their consent, and to talk about it and to recognize that when someone is feeling suicidal, they have the same needs all of us do, to just be listened to and to be connected with, and because they have a reason for feeling suicidal. And it's not giving up on life. When someone gives up on life, what does it look like? It looks like they go to work, they come home, they turn on the TV, they eat their dinner from fast food place, they go to sleep, they go to work. That's giving up on life. Suicidal feelings is a desperate need to change your life and an absolute feeling of powerlessness to make that change. Find out what the person wants to change and help them get a little bit of power in their life. And to do that, you have to talk with them.